safety of our animals and the courtesy of the guests around you, and so as to not frighten the driver, please refrain from using any sort of external lighting like flash photography. Number 2, please make sure that y'all remain seated at all times. Oh my word. I'm from the South. Oh my gosh. I mean, I'm from Florida, but I'm from Ocala, so... Okay. Well, we are going to start our safari trip here in the Little Ituri Forest. The Little Ituri Forest has some really shy and quiet animals that are kind of like the introvert of the friend group. So let's see if they're feeling sociable tonight. The animals that live here in the Little Ituri Forest have a really good natural camouflage that helps them blend into the background away from any prying human eyes, but we can spot that bongo right on the left-hand side. Now, the bongo is that dark auburn colored animal with the horns pointing backwards. Bongos are actually really shy and reclusive animals. They're actually so rarely spotted that they're nicknamed the ghost of the forest. But I don't know about you folks, but I need like a gif of bongo playing the bongos like stat. So internet, don't fail me now.
Sometimes there's a rhino.
But we're in Africa right now, so yeah, Disney World's a long way away. I don't get a lot of opportunities to travel because, you know, I'm here in Africa.
Oh yeah.
Alrighty, y'all. Doesn't look like any of our other Ituri Forest friends are here to hang out with us, but that's okay, because we're gonna leave the Ituri Forest and head into the Saki River Valley. And what's in the Saki River Valley? Well, person in the back who sounds just like me, I'm glad you asked, because there's some really cool aquatic type animals and birds here. So let's see if anything noteworthy is hanging out in the first pool I'm spotting just on the right hand side. Yeah, that's the thing about nighttime safaris is that you might not be able to see animals, but you can definitely use your other senses to help you spot them, like your sense of smell and your hearing. TBH, I'm not seeing anything noteworthy here in this first pool, but that's okay. We have a phrase out here we like to say, Hakuna Matata, which means no worries. It's like the problem-free philosophy of the reserve. You know, I say Hakuna Matata because there's so many cool things just on the left-hand side. I can actually see some hippos. Hippos are nocturnal animals, which means they're more active during the night than they are in the day.
Oh, yeah.
They'll spend about 8 minutes underwater holding their breath and actually prefer to walk along the bottom of the water instead of swimming through it. Because, you know, hippo's gonna do hippos. Now there's also some birds I'd like to point out. The one that's swimming around in the water, also the big ones on the island, are the pink-backed pelicans. And I know what you're thinking about them, and they don't look very pink. Well, you know, you're not wrong, because they don't. I was thinking it too. But their backs actually turn pink during mating season when they're falling in love. Aww.
So, a whole safari of women. Are there any boys on our safari?
Well, as we cross this bridge, be sure to catch a look at some crocodiles on the left-hand side. And we can tell that these are crocodiles and not gators because they're not a University of Florida gator like your safari driver is. That's right, go Gators. Glad we beat Georgia. But you know, oh, yo, these crocodiles bite down with a force of 2,000 pounds of pressure per square inch. Yeah, so go Gators. We can also tell those are crocodiles because of their green coloring and narrow snouts, with teeth all on the outside, giving them a really sly and toothy smile. about 20 feet long. But it looks like these trees are thinning out, which tells me that we're headed into the savannah. Now the savannah actually stretches for hundreds of thousands of miles across Africa and is home to some of the world's most recognizable animals. But we're gonna stop and talk about a tree for like a hot second. And I bet you're wondering how a tree could be interesting. Well, let me introduce you to the most interesting tree in the world, and that is the baobab tree on the right hand side. That baobab tree will spend about 9 months out of the year leafless so it can conserve water in its huge trunk that it has.
Ooh. Ah.
Oh boy. Alrighty, y'all. We're gonna be going down this hill. And I really love to point out the view for 2 reasons. Number 1, even though it's dark outside and you can't really see a lot, it's still a really cool view, right? I think so. And number 2, it kind of acts like a sneak preview for everything that we're going to see. I promise y'all, any shadows or silhouettes or outlines that you see, we're gonna get a really up close and personal look at, so don't you worry your pretty little heads just yet. I got you. You can see a spotted hyena.
Oh, yes.
Now I really love the spotted hyenas. I think they're kind of the best things since sliced bread. Mostly because they live in a really female-dominated society, so hashtag girl power. Even the highest ranking male in the clan will actually rank lower than the lowest ranking female in the clan. So I say that's some serious girl power for the hyenas. Now this little itty-bitty animal that you're seeing is a springbok. Springbok get their name for their ability to spring up in the air just about 10 to 11 feet at a time. But they actually have been known to reach heights of 13 feet when they're frightened. And when they jump, it's actually called pronking, which I just think is a funny word. Pronking. P-R-O-N-K-I-N-G. Pronking. It's just funny to say. Now these animals that are moving around are white-bearded wildebeest. And about 1.5 million of them will actually migrate across the savannah every single year. They like to sleep with guards posted at every direction so that they can always be on the lookout for any predators that might be trying to approach in the night. Are they gonna cross? What you doing? Okay. White-bearded wildebeest are actually also called the new because of the grunt-like noise that they like to make that kind of sounds like new. So you know, you can say that you learn something new every day. Now these animals with the big horns are Ankole cattle.
I smell them.
Ankole cattle are also
I can
called
smell
Watusi
you.
cattle after the first tribe that domesticated them, the Watusi tribe, which actually makes them the only domesticated animal out here on this reserve. Now those horns of theirs are actually hollow inside with a honeycomb-like structure that allows for blood to circulate through them and kind of helps them cool off because it can get pretty hot out here on the savannah. And of course we are seeing some more springbok just lying down. Adult-sized springbok will only be 3 feet tall, which makes them the perfect size for being adorable.
She's a good safari guy. She's a good safari guy.
If y'all have any questions, feel free to shout them up. Now this tan animal that you're seeing on the left-hand side lying down is a Patterson's eland. Patterson's eland can weigh a literal actual ton at 2,000 pounds. They can actually jump 6 feet up in the air, just from a standing position. orange things that you see are in the ground are actually termite mounds. Sometimes elephants use them as scratching posts. And some smaller antelopes, like the spring donkey saw earlier, will sometimes perch atop them to grab a really good lookout onto the savannah for any predators that might be trying to approach. I know the next question about those termite mounds that y'all probably have is, what are they made out of, Erica?
What are they made out of, Erica?
Oh, thank you for asking. They're made from some really fun and pleasant ingredients like soil and saliva and dung. I know. It's nasty.
Thanks.
Now, all the way in the back, you might be able to spot a couple of giraffes. Now, specifically, these are Maasai giraffes. You can tell that because of their darker colored spots and the jagged edges they have around their spots. Now, would any of you guys say that a giraffe is your spirit animal?
Yes.
Okay, well, you must not like to sleep a lot because giraffes only sleep for 30 minutes every single night. I know.
Sounds right.
Now, giraffes can tower over us at 20 feet tall, and actually towering over us again are some more baobab trees. Now, there's a fun story in African folklore that tells the story of these baobab trees. It kind of goes a little something like this. When the Creator was first creating his earth, he looked down onto it and saw that it was perfect just the way that it was. Nothing else needed to be added. But you know, he still felt something in his bag of creations, so he looked down into it, saw that it was this baobab tree, looked back down onto the earth and said, this is pretty good the way it is. So he just tossed the baobab tree over his shoulder and didn't even care to see where it landed, and it landed upside down with its roots in the air, which is why it actually has the nickname the upside down tree. Like I told y'all earlier, those are its branches. You can't fool us, baobab tree. Good try, though. Now, sometimes elephants like to hang out over here on the left-hand side. I think
They're sleeping.
elephants actually have kind of a curfew of sorts. During the day, they'll go out with and hang out with and play with whomever they want. But at night, they actually return home to their families to sleep with them.
Aww.
I know. Now, elephants actually have the second longest childhood, second only to humans. An elephant will remain a child and live with its parents for about 13 to 15 years. But a human will remain a child and live with its parents for about 18 to post-college years. Behold, elephants. We can tell that these are African elephants because of their big floppy ears, and also because we're in Africa.
You see him holding something in his testicle?
Yeah. Some alfalfa.
Now those elephants are really cool, but these greater flamingos coming up on the left-hand side are also really cool. Greater flamingos are the tallest and least pink out of all flamingo types. And like all flamingos, they're born gray, but then there's feathering turns pink from all the beta-carotene in the brine shrimp that they like to eat. But I think my favorite thing about flamingos is that a group of them is actually called a flamboyance, which I just think is a funny word. So now you can just tell everybody that you saw a flamboyance of flamingos on your safari trip.
You doing good? I got a bunch of stuff there, so we'll get it now. There's many things to get. Okay. Just buzzing, but I think it's but obviously it's done. So keep track because it buzzes when the guys show.
Yep.
So you'll have to tell me if I got anything. I don't know. I've got like 5 different things. I got some gas and stuff.
And just over there on the right-hand side is a white rhino. When the British settled over here, they actually misheard the Afrikaans word for these rhinos, which is vite, for white. But that Afrikaans word vite really doesn't mean white at all. It actually means wide, referencing their wide jaws. But you know, the name white rhino stuck, so now we have the white rhino. Now those rhinos can actually charge speeds of around 35 miles an hour. But don't worry folks, I got you because this truck goes just around 8 miles an hour. No worries. We're real speed demons out here on the Harambe Wildlife Reserve. Woo-hoo. Now, right in front of us, I can actually see a kopi. And kopi is a Swahili word for this big rock formation that lions like to hang around. Oh, there's the male lion sleeping up there. Now, speaking of Swahili words, I bet y'all didn't even realize you knew another Swahili word, because our favorite lion out here is Simba, and Simba is actually the Swahili word for lion. What? How clever is that? I know, I'm a cat person, so seeing that lion is like the icing on top of the cake for me.
Hanging out.
Oh my gosh! Every day is National Cat Day. Now lions, like hyenas, also live in a really female-dominated society, so hashtag girl power. Female lionesses will go out and do all the hunting, while the males will stay home to guard the kopi and guard the cubs. During the day, male lions have the same strength and eyesight as we do, but once the cover of night falls, lions actually have 6 times better eyesight than we do, which like blows me away because I wear glasses to help me see. Oh my gosh. Yeah, y'all, I could see the Queen of England tomorrow and that would still be the most majestic thing I've ever seen.
Kitty meow
Lions are inactive just about 16 to 20 hours out of the day. They're definitely nocturnal animals, meaning that they're more active during the night than they are during the day. Me too, lions, me too.
Huh.
I can see a couple of animals lying down. They're going to end up being on the right-hand side. And those are Addax. Addax will go just about their entire lives without drinking any water. They actually don't need to because of all the plant life that they eat. It gives them all the water that they need. They only drink water, you know, for convenience's sake. And you can kind of see it happening right now. Their coats will change color depending on the season that they're in. During the summer months, it'll actually be a milky white color. But during the autumn and winter months, it'll change to a tan color. Now there's also another animal lying down right behind it, and that is a bontebok. Now back in the 90s, bontebok were poached to the point of near extinction for their really pretty purplish brownish coats. You see near extinction because there were only 20 bontebok in the entire world at some point. But thanks to conservation efforts from reserves like this, the population is back and flourishing.
No, don't worry about it.
Now we're going to be heading into the last part of our reserve, which is Magadi Glen, which I always think just looks super pretty at night, you know, with the moon shining down just perfectly. It almost seems unreal. see if anything fun is hanging out here other than us.
You're holding up the Chevy behind you.
Yeah.
Yep. So pretty. Alrighty, now those birds all the way on the right hand side are yellow-billed storks, which get their name for their yellow bills. They're actually a carnivorous bird that have been known to eat other small birds, rodents, reptiles, fish, and more. Now they'll actually follow crocodiles upstream to catch any prey that the crocodiles might miss. Unfortunately though, y'all, it looks like our time together this evening out on the Harambe Wildlife Reserve is fastly coming to a close. I hope y'all have enjoyed yourselves out here though, because I know I had a blast with y'all. Oh my gosh. And if you're interested in seeing some of the other amazing animals that Harambe has to offer, feel free to always come back and visit us again, because no two safari trips are ever the same. These animals totally make sure of that. Now speaking about these animals, some of the ones that y'all saw out here today are endangered and they could use your help. All y'all have to do to help these animals is donate to the Disney Conservation Fund, which is as easy as rounding up to the nearest dollar amount at any merchandise and most quick service food locations right here in Animal Kingdom. What's extra awesome about it is that Disney will actually match the amount you guys spent dollar for dollar, and you'll get a really cool button when you donate. And who doesn't love a good button, am I right?
Yeah.
Now, of course, if you are hanging around or you're on your way out, be sure to catch the Tree of Life, which I hear comes alive every night with different animal stories that happen around, every 10 to 15 minutes. I've heard, at least. And of course, if y'all have any questions or comments, feel free to come up to the front of the truck when we dock, and I'd love to answer those for you. But before we do that, I'm going to teach y'all one last phrase. That is kwaherini, which means to go well. So we don't like to say goodbye out here. It's so final and so sad. So folks, for our last time together, my name is Erica. It has been a joy to be your safari guide this evening. And kwaherini. Have a wild time out there tonight, y'all.
Kwaherini!
Kwaherini. Oh, thank you guys. Thank you.
Oh yeah. Erica, our safari guide.
The conservation fund.